Hi folks, Paul W. the Boss Man again here on a with a new topic, cost control in depth. But first, before we start that, let me give you my website again. Okay, so cost control in depth. The first thing I'm going to discuss is food cost. Um, and what can you do to lower your food costs? Because at this point, you know, when I'm talking about in depth, we're fine tuning things. Okay, if you've got food cost problem, watch the food cost video or the labor cost video or whatever your problem is. Go to that video and fix your big problems. This is really for fine tuning. Okay, um, so uh, to lower your food costs, to increase your profits and make a better margin. Well, just because your actual food costs doesn't mean your theoretical food cost doesn't mean that you're doing the best job you can. You can lower your theoretical food cost. If, for example, if you are, uh, let's say, chilies, soups, and pastas run 20% food cost, and your other entrees are running 25% food cost, try to sell and promote your uh, chili soup and pasta. Excuse me. Um, that lowers your theoretical. So uh, beware of ways to lower your theoretical food costs, not just your actual food costs to match. Okay. Um, limit waste. If you're frying up, if you're making any product in advance and you've got to throw it away at the end of the night, try to figure out something to put those leftovers in for the next day. For example, if it's chicken, using chicken noodle soup for the next day, or chicken and noodles, or on a salad, or and barbecue chicken, whatever. Find ways to limit your waste. Okay. Next, check your purchasing price. Um, Food distribution companies will like to inch up their prices, and sometimes it's very fair. The market is going up, but other times it's almost as if they're testing you to see um, if you are paying attention. So check those. Um, ask your sales rep also if there's not similar products or better products that are cheaper. Never lower the quality of products to meet food costs or skimp the customer. Okay, um, that just hides the real problem. Fix the problem. Okay, labor costs. How can you maximize savings? Um, Assuming that you're not shorthanded and you are properly staffed, start hiring newbies at a lower rate. If you've been hiring them at $8 an hour, now start hiring them at $7.75 or whatever. Okay, because you don't your need isn't as great, so you don't need to pay as much. Okay, um, start giving employees that make a lower amount more hours, and give the employees that make more hours a little extra time off. Um, again, this is fine tuning, and this is assuming your restaurant's running well. Um, and good employees, most unless they've got a lot of bills to pay, um, will appreciate the sentiment. Again, excuse me. The sentiment of you getting them a little extra time off. Okay. You can trim hours slightly, but you don't want to go anything drastic. Just to hit some number that you don't have to hit. Okay. Um, the best way to lower all your costs or increase in sales, if you're running um, $400 an hour in sales from 10 to 11, um, and you're using $100 in labor, you're running 25% food costs. But if you can figure out how to a way to run $600 in sales that hour, now you and use the same labor, you're down to 16.67. So that's one way you can increase or lower your labor cost. Uh, Again, raising your sales is the best way to, because when you raise your sales, it affects everything across the board, not just one.
Hello, please leave a message after the tone.
Um, when utilities, when you open, don't turn everything on at once. Realize that what equipment is gas and what is electric. Turn them on um, at different times and space them out a little bit, because otherwise you have what is a surge, and then the utility companies charge you for that surge. If you turn everything on electric at once, or everything gas on, or just everything all at once, and heating up, it takes more power to heat an oven up, to preheat an oven, than it does to keep a temperature in an oven. So keep that in mind also. Um, um, every restaurant I've ever fixed, they're always amazed at how um, I get my costs in line so fast. Well, every restaurant I've ever had I fixed is always shorthanded. You hire a few people, and all of a sudden you start increasing sales just because we have more staff. Um, and with that being said, uh, with that being said, uh, when your sales go up, your costs come down. And you got to realize that most people look at their costs on a percentage basis. You earn 20% labor and 25% food cost, or whatever the numbers are for your restaurant or your company. Okay. And um, that is um, when you increase sales, you're gonna, if you lower your if you increase your sales, you're gonna lower your food and your labor. So um, that's just a thought there. Okay. Um, the one thing you don't want to do is over control yourself. I worked for a company that basically controlled themselves out of business, and they're a huge company. And no, they didn't go bankrupt, but they probably came pretty close. Um, Enough to the point where they're closing markets down that had 20 plus stores, 30 stores in them. Um, and markets, not just a market, but markets. When you're closing that many restaurants, you've done something, you screwed up royally. And this company, I can tell you 110%, they over controlled. Um, so they didn't have good ways to track costs. They didn't have a POS system. Everything was done by hand. Next, they just controlled themselves out of business. No matter what your number was, they wanted 1% lower than that. And then when you hit that, then they want another 1% lower. And after a year or so, you're giving crap service, you're making crap product, and um, you're losing sales. So, and trying to get it all back is really difficult. So, that's cost control in depth. Please check out my website again, and here's the address for that. Thank you, and you all have a great day.